Well, here we go again. And I'm all excited. I'm going to be talking to my favorite world traveler. It's the fabulous Marc Z on our weekly segment on our Marc Z Moment, up on what's going on in the world of personnel, professional services, and how the world is changing for entrepreneurs who need to run their businesses successfully. Welcome back, Marc.
Thanks, Jeff. Great to be here as always.
Great. So, what's the topic today?
Well, I thought I would go over something that is permeating my business and with a lot of employers. Particularly, I've seen this trend increase significantly over the last year is ghosting. And it's become more and more relevant on so many levels in the interviewing process and just in terms of the particularly the person who's being considered for a role in terms of communication and in terms of interest in roles and any kind of follow-up after that. And we're just finding it very prevalent and just thought it's a subject that we should talk about with our employer audience as well as our employee audience.
Right. Well,
It's really it's really on the increase that individuals who are under consideration for positions or being considered for a role at any stage of the process, they'll opt out, but there is no communication a lot of times why they're opting out or why they're not interested, and that's getting employers very concerned, and it's not helping the process in terms of really making that connection with the employer and employee and understanding it, whether it's trying to get some feedback from the prospective employee or the employer, what led to that non-communication is something that's because we want to be able to communicate as best as possible with our candidates and employer.
I hate that whole ghosting thing. I think it's the cowardly way out. It's not my favorite. I respond to everybody. I know you do too. And I know we've talked about ghosting and how irritating it can be.
Right, right. It's just so important to understand what led to a certain decision or what led the prospective employee to decide I want to opt out of the process. And it doesn't help in terms of the employer understanding, well, what can I do? You would be pleased with what we had to say or what we offer if I understood more of where your questions could be. And a lot of times the prospective employee is not communicating that. And it may be a chemistry thing, it may be maybe something intangible, but it's something that would be good to be communicated with so the employer could know or the employee could maybe have the answers that they thought they could not have.
Right.
And
Well,
that's
I love, these topics you bring up, Mark. I think they're so relevant to people and they need to think about them and how they affect their businesses because it's always these little subtle things that can lead you down the wrong path.
right. And there's some really terrific and talented prospective employees that if there are issues or concerns that can be addressed, if they're communicated, that could make the difference in terms of having a very good employer-employee fit and placement as opposed to not having one at all. But you have to be able to communicate. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Right. Well, Mark, if someone wants more of your sage wisdom, how do they find you?
Well, first of all, go on our wonderful Radio Entrepreneurs website, radioentrepreneurs.com. Google Marc Z, M-A-R-C, and the letter Z. Go to marczlegal.com, MarczLegal.com, and 617-338-1300.
Great, Mark, and I look forward to seeing you again every single week for 2025 on the only show that has Marc Z, Radio Entrepreneurs.
Look forward to it. Thank
Great.
you.
Remind everybody, this is obviously Radio Entrepreneurs.